Hello, welcome back to Galactic Reviews. And I've read it a while ago, but Zach just recently read Joe Frankenstein Part 1 and Part 2. And we are going to give our thoughts on it and rank it and stuff, kind of like we normally do. Nothing's really changed.
Except, we're still going back to comic books instead of TV movies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's because we like it. And at some point, I would like to see you and Andrew do manga stuff if you guys
I
are up
can,
for that. But
I can talk to Andrew about it. It's,
because I don't always need to be here. So,
and that's fair.
so back to Joe Frankenstein. Before we get on a sidetrack again.
Hasn't even started.
I know. So part one, I guess part one is what we'll kind of start off with. So it's basically kind of an introduction into what what the comic book is essentially about. This guy, Joe, who ends up finding out he is related to Dr. Frankenstein. So and then ends up finding out through the monster of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, ends up finding out that he might die, which is always a good thing to know after delivering a pizza.
I do that every single day when I deliver a pizza, so it's okay.
That's. Are you secretly Joe Frankenstein?
I can't tell you that, or I may die soon.
So you actually identify a lot with this. No, just kidding. You could see
Yes,
yourself
as
in
a
the book
pizza man.
as a pizza guy. I didn't know at first when I got this. I found out about this through just watching some videos and then saw Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon kind of promote the sort of the campaign that they were going over, and then I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it a whirl. I like these guys. I read the Nightfall stuff, but I'd read a lot of the Chuck Dixon's Robin stuff, so I was willing to give it a chance because I really hadn't done this before.
hmm
And I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed, and
So was I.
I was
So was I.
like, I was not, because this is like my first comic book that isn't like a hero comic book. It's like a monster sort of thriller comic book that has heroes in it, but it's mostly monster sort of.
in it I enjoy it because it kind of just it gives you a brief backstory of Dr. Frankenstein, his
Yeah,
monster, his creation, and then goes into the present day of what's happening.
yeah, because
I
it's expecting
enjoy
you to
just
fill
in
in the
case,
gaps with like all the
yeah,
stuff that like from the monsters and like culture and pop culture and stuff, but like putting their own like putting enough of what they want in it to make it like different, so that way they could
correct.
claim this is like their own version.
Yes, but I did enjoy the flashback just in case for some reason you didn't know who Frankenstein was or Frankenstein's monster.
I thought the flashback was good, and I was like,
And it
and it made
tied
sense.
it tied
It made
in
sense.
very well, explaining, especially for the first issue, who the villain was.
Yeah,
His partner.
yeah. The Bride
Simple
of
enough.
Frankenstein,
Yes. Well, I which I
Frankenstein's
enjoyed.
bride.
I enjoyed the jokes between him the whole time of I guess this is our divorce.
There's so many
Every
good
time,
quips in there that just it's
especially
good.
to me, especially on the second issue.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. The second issue they have way more fun because part one's just mainly set up, and then second issue is
it's
like
set up,
they're just going crazy.
especially
Like they
with
got
what is his name? Not
Finnebar.
just
If
yeah,
the
no,
werewolf guy
not Finbar. Well, yeah,
Enoch,
but
the
Enoch.
midget dude,
Enoch Enoch has so many great lines.
Enoch and Finnebar kind of give me that like Legolas and Gimli kind of vibe where like they shouldn't be
Yeah.
friends, but they're really good at like bantering back and forth.
Well, it's just like for Finbar, it's one of those things of we didn't get to see him much in human form, so it's we didn't get much like banter between the two of them in human form. It's mostly Enoch making fun of him while he's
Yeah.
changed.
And I hope to see more of that banter in like part
hmm
three because I found out a while ago that that was coming out, hence why we're doing this part one and part two.
Yes. I'm more interested in seeing because at the end of part two, we got to see the potential of who the the mastermind is. I'm supposing.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
remember.
it
I don't
doesn't give a
remember.
name.
No, I don't remember if it was like. I know the mummy was kind of like the henchman,
Yeah, the mummy's the
but I
henchman,
don't
but
remember who the bad guy was.
I'm
I don't
assuming
remember
it's
who.
Dracula because it was a giant bat.
Okay, okay, then yeah, yeah, probably Dracula.
I would assume Dracula
Well, that
because
explains a
who
lot of
else
the.
controls the thralls?
Well, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, and that also
and the
explains a lot of the.
vampires.
That explains a lot of the women and stuff. I am curious as to who that goon of Frankenstein's bride is, or what monster he's supposed to be, because
He's a clone, so
I don't remember if that. It's been a while since I've read it, or since I gave it to you and you read it.
yeah.
So
It doesn't I'm trying to
I know
remember
he's
who
not.
he's supposed to be
I know he's.
representing.
I know he's like not
Every time he
natural, but I
dies,
don't know
yeah, well,
what
every
exactly
time
he
he
is.
dies, they like a new clone takes his place.
That's in the book, right?
Yes, that's in the book.
Okay, I'm
Um,
gonna have to reread it then, because
yeah,
it's been a while.
they just have a lot of clones of him, and every time he
Okay.
dies, he's replaced by a new clone.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. I think.
But I'm
Um.
trying to remember who he's supposed to be portraying in this
Yeah, like his essence goes from that one body to the next. If I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm
I'm
yeah,
pretty
I'm
sure that
guessing
that happened, right?
that's how it goes. Well, it doesn't say specifically or show it. It's
Oh,
just he
okay.
retains all of the memories of his previous. It doesn't say how it gets there.
Mm, okay. Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
so I don't
I'm
know
trying to
exactly
remember.
what monster they're trying to portray him as because I can't
All
think
I
of
can
it.
think of is Bishop, and that's kind of where I'm getting it confused by. It's like Bishop,
Yeah.
with his like clone bodies, that hence the essence transferal.
Hmm.
But I think I remember. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that part specifically, but I think I remember that. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah. But honestly, this was very, very good. I enjoyed the bantering between the first one was good. It was a much better build up explaining a story than I saw.
Yeah,
Um
because it's
how
actually a
a
story.
yeah, yeah, how a first issue should be. Um the second one was building on the foundation the first one did and
Yeah,
just adding more humor and pretty much just drawing you deeper into the story and liking these characters.
yeah. It had the luxury. The second one had the luxury of more so. It already had you somewhat caught, and now it was just
Hmm.
somewhat relaxing and kind of settling down, and you got that fun
Yes.
stuff going with it in that settling part, and it was good. It's good.
It's good, it's well paced.
Yeah,
But then again, what am I to be surprised with who did this?
yeah.
So I'm excited. Have they said how long this is going to be? Because I see it being longer than just 3 issues.
I don't know. I think it's just however long they want to do it and however long they want to
I mean,
do it
that's
for.
fair. That's fair.
I don't know I don't know if they've actually said like how many parts Joe Frankenstein will be, but I know Graham Nolan has like created at Compass Comics this sort of monster universe. So I don't
Yeah.
know if he's like building something up to if he's building something up to this giant like monster sort of thing, or if he's just like
Okay.
having fun with Joe Frankenstein. I don't I don't know.
That would be kind of
But
interesting if he just takes little bits and pieces from others to
yeah,
make like one final one.
yeah.
Um, that would be kind of cool.
So I don't know for certain, but I'm assuming he has an end goal in mind. I just don't know what that is.
Yes.
So
And it's kind of nicer not to know what
oh
the end
yeah,
goal
yeah,
is, especially for stuff like this, where it's kind of a take on something old and making it more modern.
well still again like the original stuff, like it's homage and stuff, and
Hmm.
also still having fun along the way.
Yes.
So because you know all this, like you know Frankenstein, Dracula, all that just from pop culture alone. So
I
even if
mean,
you
they
haven't
even
watched
made
the
they even made references throughout the comic books as
Yeah.
well of stories of Frankenstein, like movies and films.
Yeah. And they even like say like, yeah, he made those or something like he backed them a
No,
lot or whatever, right?
no, they said
Or
because
no.
Joe Frankenstein said, "Oh, it's a windmill," from the movie. And um Enoch was like, "Yeah, he doesn't get that. Why would he want to watch something where he is the character?"
Yeah. Okay. I don't remember if he I know he funds a lot of stuff. I don't know if he helped fund those movies or if it was just
I'm not
because I know he
sure.
said he funded a lot of stuff, and then in that same paragraph he was taught they were talking about the movie. So
Yeah, I'm not really sure specifically,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm more there were a lot of I kind of hope they go explain some of it a little bit more.
I
Um
think they will as it goes on because I mean
yeah,
this
they
was
because they brought up pretty much like what Black Widow and Hawkeye did. They would bring up that Budapest a lot,
yeah,
and we get
yeah,
nothing about Budapest. And they mentioned quite a few times different places, I'm assuming different battlefields they were in. And they actually do kind of explain them to an extent for you to understand what's happening.
yeah.
But it's one of those things I would like to see how Enoch, Finbar, and Frankenstein's monster.
All met and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. It's not necessary, but it would be a cool like if they can do it in like a flashback, if like in some circumstance happens a different monster. I can't think of a monster off the top of my head that would do like memories and stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Oh, I know Frankenstein's monster is immortal. I don't know if I would assume Finnebar is immortal as well because he's a werewolf.
No,
Or
they
or do
can die.
well like I mean like not immortal like invulnerable immortal, but like he can't age to death. Or do you I
It's
don't
I
know
don't
if
know because it
I don't
goes
know enough
there.
about
There are
werewolves.
different. Yeah, they're werewolves have the lifespan of a human. They just have the ability every full. I don't know if it's every full moon because
I
then
think it's
again,
every full moon. Because I mean they do
but then
that in
again,
the
well, then again, I don't. In this, he changed into the werewolf. He then reverted back to a human and then turned back into a werewolf. Was that another month later, or was that the same night, or was that the next day? It doesn't explain that.
no.
But I've never heard of a werewolf being reverted back after he's turned in the same night and then reverting back to a werewolf. So that's the only thing I was a little confused about. It's not a real issue. It was just the only thing I saw that I didn't know a werewolf could do it.
Uh,
Um, from like stories of werewolves and everything. But then again, this is his story. He can do a werewolf is however he wants, as long as it's pretty much the same abilities and same
yeah.
stick shtick, which it pretty much is. Just a barbarian, pretty much.
I think I'd rate both of them about I'm thinking either 8.5 or 9, like pretty high up
Ye-
there.
Yeah, I was gonna go with an eight. For both of them, as it progresses, and we get the full thing released, it
Yeah.
might go up, but I think a solid eight for both of them right now.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go 8.5 because I mean they were when I first
They
read
were
them,
very
they were
good.
when I first read them, I was like I was astounded because I was like, wow, this is really, really good.
I
You
was
know?
not expecting this from like a new story. I don't want to say it's a new story because I mean it's a story that's been done a lot,
Yeah.
like the Frankenstein's monster and everything, but the a new take on an old story.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't expecting it to be so as interesting as it was, I
Mm.
suppose. It's a really fun concept. So I'm excited to see where it's gonna go from
Yeah.
here.
I know he's at least doing a part 3. I'm assuming he's doing a lot more because this one's
Hey,
this one's good and it was received relatively well. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so thank you for watching this episode of Galactic Reviews. Join us next time when we review some other comic book together. We don't know what that's going to be yet, but we'll figure that out as we go. And we'll see you next
Or who
time.
knows,
Yeah,
maybe I'll convince Payson to read a manga.
I will probably like the story and hate the art.
You, I could show you one right now, but I don't think you would like the story. But the art is really good. Or at least you probably wouldn't like parts of the story.
Probably. Like that's granted, I don't like a lot of some of the comic book stories. I'm like, they could have done that better. They could have
I mean,
that could have
yeah.
been more fleshed out. Like I just read Identity Crisis. I thought it was actually good, and I was like, but they didn't set it up. They didn't set up the. I don't know if you've read it, Identity
No, I
Crisis.
haven't yet.
There's one character that's essentially like the mysterious villain because it's like a suspense sort of mystery as you're trying to figure out like how things went awry from with the death of a character, and you find out this other character, and they don't really set it up well or set up
They
her
kind of just
mental
slap you in the face
instability.
with it.
Yeah, they don't really set it up well, the
Oh,
mental instability. And I think that's because they didn't have enough issues to do it. Because everything
it
else is really decently well done.
it
But
happens sometimes, sadly.
yeah.
But yeah, no,
Well,
I
it's
I
like
get it.
it's a 7 issue miniseries, and I'm like, it needed an eighth. It needed an eighth to better explain that character's
As
mental
the same,
decline.
let's be honest, the same with the TV shows. It needs to have one more episode.
Yeah, well, whenever we do Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle review, we'll be doing that. So anyway, we'll
Fair.
see you next time on Galactic Reviews.